Who was the dumbest person you ever met? How did you know? I remember a guy I knew in middle school who put money into a vending machine and then his item didn't come out. Then he put more money into the machine and two of the item he wanted came out. He then exclaimed, "Alright. 2 for 1. I was working retail at the time, and this lady walks in and asks me to tell her when it is 10:15 a.m., she needs to catch a bus. We were slow so I obliged. 10:15 a.m. rolls around and I tell her, so she drops her stuff and runs out to get the bus. 5 minutes later she comes back scowling. And she then lectures me on how to tell time. How much is a quarter? 25 cents. So why would you tell me 10:15 is 10:15? It's 10:25 a.m. He had just purchased a new, high-powered BB gun. We had just finished shooting it in the backyard when he points the barrel at my face and pulls the trigger several times. I tell him to stop being an idiot and he just laughs and says it's not loaded. Then the moron puts the barrel in his mouth and shoots a BB right through his tongue and into his uvula. Edit for those asking why it shot him and not me. I was sitting down so the end of the barrel was at a downward angle. When Genius shot himself, the barrel was at an upward angle, causing the last BB to roll down to the back of the ammo tubing into the chamber. I asked a temp at work to weigh a couple of lever arch files for a postage. She came back and told me they were 65 kilograms. I asked if it were possible that it was 6.5 kilograms, but she insisted it wasn't. We argued about it for a good 5 minutes. It wasn't until I asked her how much she weighed, 59 kilograms, that it finally twigged that these two small folders couldn't possibly weigh more than her. When I was in the Air Force I was the lead trainer, certifier in my unit. When a new person would show up, I'd watch them do the job, answer any out of the ordinary questions etc., and when I felt they were ready, I'd sign off saying they were qualified. This all happened after they finished a 6-week school learning the job. The 73 troops I trained took on average 3 days to complete this phase. Then there was that one guy. I took him under my wing, non-stop for an entire month. He'd mess something up one day and we'd correct it. No big deal. The next, he'd get it right, but get something else wrong. Then on the following day, mess up on the first thing we had corrected. Bear in mind that he has a step-by-step checklist in his hand that lists everything to do and in what order to do it. After a month of this, I figured there was nothing I could do for him. Maybe it was my teaching method, so I handed him over to my supervisor. They spent another 3 weeks together until he was finally certified. A month and a half to learn what should have taken 3 days. Personally, I really liked the guy, had a good heart, didn't give up after the setbacks, and probably the funniest non-comedian I've ever met. He was just a bit dense when it came to the job. The job was refueling jets, which is really about 2 degrees harder than filling your car. A chimp could do it and probably learn in less time. Miss ya, buddy, hope you're still doing well. A friend of mine is a sweet guy but is overweight and balding and quite frankly, not very attractive in the face. Well, one day he lets us know that he has met a girl and she might be the one. He's in his late 20s for reference. Well, I've met some of the jewels he's hooked up with in the past, so I wasn't expecting too much. Finally meet this girl and she is drop-dead gorgeous and has a body that is incredible. I talked to her for a while and she is super friendly and outgoing. I'm stoked for my boy. He found the best he's ever gonna find. Anyway, the night progresses and the new couple starts talking about their plans for an upcoming trip to New Mexico, and she starts telling us how excited she is because she has never gone to another country before. I laughed a bit and realized she was dead serious. My friend just looked at me and shook his head, and I knew that he knew. She was dumb as a fucking rock, but she was his dumb fucking rock. Phew. He helped her get her passport. I remember proofreading a paper for a freshman my roommate had the hots for. It was on Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal, but somehow this freshman didn't catch that it was satire. The opening lines of the paper are burned into my memory. Eating children would not be a good thing to do. In fact, we could say it would be bad. Was dating this girl a while back and we were going to dinner one night and talking about chicken cutlets or something and she was like, I wonder what part of the cow it comes from. I literally was in such shock that this 30-year-old woman with a master's degree just made such a ridiculous statement. Completely dumbfounded.